Hello and welcome back. So, for everyone who's asking, we are doing this one in English, like all the time. There's no German language in here. We tried to teach Pete a bit of German, but
Nine.
we failed. We failed.
I failed.
No, it's all good. No. So it will be in English. So no one. I mean, you can still ask all your questions in German in the chat. We are able to translate it, but that will be in English. So a lot of people have asked what this is about. It's about Starfield and Pete Hines. So. Happy to introduce Pete. Pete was, last time you were here was 2021 when we did the COVID live stream. It was only online. It was with Aaron Greenberg back then. Yeah, that was the last time. So
when was the last time I was here?
Here, 2019,
18? Somewhere in there?
2018.
I've been to so many Gamescoms, they all blur together. But it's awesome to be back here with you all.
It's glad to have you here. I'm really glad. So,
how are you?
I'm really glad too. Thank you that you're joining our live stream today.
How was your first Gamescom with us and me and Starfield? And you haven't been through something like this.
Yes,
it's a little crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very crazy to work for the other side because I was influencer and content creator for the last year. So it's amazing to work on the publisher side and have all of you guys here around to see the developer, see everyone from the team, and it's amazing for me to meet you in person, to meet Todd in person. It's such an honor for me.
Todd, I get. I'm not sure I understand why it's cool to meet me, but
it's cool to meet all of you. It's so cool to meet all of you, and I'm so nervous, but yeah.
We're going to have fun. We're just going to talk about a game. We've spent so long working on this. Let's just hang out and talk.
Fun to finally being able to talk about it, right? So there's one important question, and that is on my list for the first thing to talk about. Okay, there's something with the sound. People are asking, who are you? And maybe it's a good one because I think you explained it several times, but since we saw you last time, I think your title changed as well. So
I guess it did.
It's good to explain what you're doing, who you are.
My name is Pete Hines. I'm the head of publishing for Bethesda Softworks, so I work with all of the teams that do all of the awesome things you see that aren't the game. So the amazing live action trailer that we put out this week, and our awesome marketing teams, to the awesome sales things, to all of our European offices. I get to work with all of these amazing people to take awesome games like Starfield and figure out how to explain them to people and show them why we think it's so fun and exciting.
I hope that answered the question at least. We will get into a bit more detail, I think, because people usually are super interested in what we are doing all day. I mean, for us, it's normal day-to-day work. I mean, I know what I'm doing most of the time. Most of the time.
Really?
But for most people, it's super exciting to see what's happening behind the scenes. How do you market a game? How do you actually come up with a whole plan? When did you hear about Starfield for the first time?
Right.
Don't tell me 25 years ago.
No. Around the time that Todd first pitched this to our now departed chairman of Bethesda and ZeniMax, Robert Altman, and he had this idea for wanting to do a space game, and this was 8 years ago, 10 years ago. And really, he had an idea, which was, I want to do a massive outer space game, and I want to call it Starfield. And listen, you need to understand and respect how crazy that is to go. We're about to finish. This would have been Fallout 4, I think. We're about to finish and ship Fallout 4, and Todd's pitch was listen, I don't want to go back and have the next game be the Elder Scrolls. I want you to let us make this thing we've always wanted to make. And, to his credit, Robert didn't balk at the idea of, because if you're Robert, if you're the chairman, hey, the biggest thing in this company's history is the Elder Scrolls. So you're going to go make another Elder Scrolls game, right? I can hear them. They're all yelling for another Elder Scrolls game. Todd's I know, but we've always wanted to do this thing. And if we don't do it now, I don't know if we ever will. And Robert said, okay, let's do it. I'm excited. He heard Todd's pitch, and Todd was we need to save this name. I love the name. We need to have the name. And fast forward, and here we are about to release this whole thing to the world. Yeah. And it's scary and exciting. It's sort of all the emotions, but given how much we've all gotten to see it and play it, and how long we've worked on it, it's time. We need to turn this over to the people who make a game, which is all of the players who take it and make it their own and share their stories. And I mean, we're a week away.
Yeah, that's scary. But it's actually a good point because that's what people tend to forget, I think. I mean, we work on those games for a long, long, long time. Giving it away is kind of
It's
heartbreaking.
scary.
It's scary. It's because you're like, okay, now it's out there. Now people can talk about it. They can do it whatever they want to.
No, they can judge it.
They
Yes.
can break it.
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause-
we do spend so much time trying to like protect it, right? Like not have it leak out there, not have people know about it before like we know what it is or what's good about it. And you are essentially taking it from being a thing you're protecting internally to hand it over to the world. And
Yeah.
boy, I hope they love it as much as we loved it. And my hope and my belief is there are a lot of people who are going to.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what can people expect? What can they see here on the Gamescom?
Yeah, like we didn't go overboard because like we are launching a game in a week and we have so many people who need to focus on all the things that happen for that to go well. But we wanted to give folks a taste. We're showing sort of a condensed version of the beginning of the game, so you kind of get to see how you start, character creation. You just get a little sense of how it feels to play the game. It gives folks a sense of like who you get to be. And, you know, the game starts very narrow focus. You're underground, you're a miner. It's sort of like not spectacular and cool. And then you get to emerge out into like, not just like, oh, you can go to that mountain. Like, no, there's way more to this than just that mountain or walk this way. There's planets and systems and the size and scope of this as the game reveals itself to you can feel a little daunting, but you know I feel like once you get a couple of hours in, there just starts to be this moment where you understand how all of these things fit together for you, right? Not for us, because we don't want to say, oh, you have to do these things, you have to do those things. Like if you don't want to do ship combat, that's what the grav drive's for, right? Like people run away from fights all the time. Like, just use your grav drive, jump to somewhere else. You don't have to get in combat. We want you to find your way and who you want to be and the stories you want to tell because it's your game.
It's the key message for the game, so that you can have an adventure on your own. And
then there's another moment that happens where you start to see and hear about the things that other people are doing, and it's another way that the game is able to reveal to you just how big it is because you do so many different things than somebody else. Even like the number of hours doesn't matter, right? Like telling somebody, oh, I played Starfield for 40 hours tells you nothing about what that person has done. Like I had a conversation with Todd, this was a couple of months ago now, I think. And he was like, you know, how far are you in? I was like, I just hit 80 hours. And he's like, so what did you think of the main quest? And I said, oh, I haven't done it. Like, at all. And he goes, what are you doing? Like, I need you to play. I was like, well, I was doing all these other things. I'm trying factions and seeing, you know, what does it feel like? He's like, you have to play the main quest. And so 80 hours in, I went from doing one game to a completely different game where I started really focusing on the main quest. And then I got so caught up in the main quest that I spent the next 50 hours just doing that. Like I forgot about all the other things because I got so wrapped up in the story. And like we intentionally don't talk about the main quest a lot because truthfully it is super spoilery. But I'm here to tell you that this game doesn't really even get going until you finish the main quest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secretive enough.
But again, you don't have to, but what they've done there, that story, it's my favorite Bethesda Game Studios story. It's my favorite Bethesda Game Studios ending to a story. And I think and hope people enjoy it as much as I have.
Okay, I need vacation.
When do you want off? You want to?
Next week, maybe next week.
Next
we don't have anything going
week
on.
after next week. Right?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can.
So I'm on vacation, chat. I'm say goodbye.
So maybe that's also something interesting for the chat. That I mean, of course, we are sometimes, not always, allowed to play the games before they release. So we all have played a bit of Starfield. Some have more, some have less. Depends on when you started. I mean, and if you have kids or not, right? I mean, I thought yesterday that when I got to play the game, I got up at 5. So I had at least 2 hours in the morning to play the game when my kid was still sleeping.
Yeah. Kids are hard on gaming. The little ones are. When they get to be the age my boys are, 20 and 24, they're awesome for gaming.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, with 3.5, it's kind of hard to tell. Sit next to me. I play Starfield.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to doing? Like, you've only gotten to play a little. Like, is there things that you've seen or you know about that you say, like, I really want to try that myself?
I I think I really want to try a spaceship, to build a spaceship.
yeah.
When I
Yeah.
first, I mean, we were talking about it in the office a bit, and everyone was like, I need to build a spaceship, my own spaceship. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want a spaceship. It seemed so much and so overwhelming. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, you can do so much stuff. But you can't do everything from day one. So there is, I mean, you need to play a while until you can get to the really cool stuff. So I'm looking
Although
forward
that's
to
a
it.
really good point, Franzi, and something I don't want folks to miss, which is like you literally can't do everything immediately. Like this is still a role-playing game, and you are still playing a character that has skills, and those skills determine what you can or can't do. So you can't just see a Class C ship and go, oh, I'm going to capture that and fly it around. Like, well, not if you're don't have the piloting skills to pilot a Class C ship. You're not going anywhere. Like you have to spend time getting to be good at piloting spaceships if you want to fly higher class ships. And so that sort of that tension of like the skill of your character and what you want to do, like we want you to make choices and sort of play the kind of character that you actually have to do those things if you want to get better at them or do more of it. And I think folks are really, once you start playing, like you start to understand like, oh, I got it. Like I can't just click a skill and like, voila, I can
just buy
you
the
got to
skill.
spend a lot of time flying, shooting, like being a pilot in order to be, a better pilot.
It's like in real life, right?
How about you? What are you? You haven't gotten to play very much at
No,
all. So
no.
like what you've seen, whether it's factions or main quest or like, what do you?
I think I want to do the main quest at first, to be honest, because I'm curious about it. I want to have the answer for humanity. So I need it. I want it to. But it's also, I think, shipbuilding is something I really want to do. I want to build a cat, if that's possible. Or something like a cat.
Spaceship as like a cat.
Yeah!
Okay.
I mean,
That would be awesome.
they can build a flying robot thing.
Yeah,
Like, why is
yeah,
it
like
that?
the Max.
Yeah.
Why not?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I need to do the main quest as my priority.
Yeah, it's the one. Our games are always very good at like, oh, I'm definitely going to do this.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly start getting the pull.
Oh,
of
yes.
Like, wait a minute, what was that? What
Yeah.
did that person
I know that. I
Wait,
know
what was
that.
going on
Oh,
over
yeah.
there? And then the next thing you know, like your desire to stay on that main quest has been completely shattered because you accidentally just spent like 4 nights in a row just playing on Mars and doing all these things on Mars. Like, wait,
I actually wanted to do something else.
yeah,
Yeah,
I had
there's
other
a
plans
quest.
here and they've been completely sidelined.
Yeah,
What
there's
I
always a
really
quest.
love is Vasco. I mean,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
a huge fan from day one, but now in game he says so much funny stuff. I'm just like, what the hell?
I think
the
he's
coolest
I
guy.
think he might be the most popular
me started.
companion amongst folks who play for that and many other reasons, which is
Yeah.
He just says so.
Very
so much.
hilarious.
I mean, he's a robot, and I still have an emotional attachment. I'm
Yeah.
like,
he's got
He's the robot.
He has a great personality. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to playing. I'd like hearing more from him.
And he's also one of your first companions you get in the game?
Yeah, I mean, he's literally the first one. I mean,
First one?
Before you even join Constellation, he's charged
Yeah.
with getting you to where you need to go to. But after that point, yeah, it's up to you. I mean, we talk about it like it does matter, right? Like if you have some companions and you do things like I do, which is if something's locked, I want to know what's behind that. Why is there a lock on this, and what are you trying to keep me from? What's in there? I'm picking that. And it matters what companions you're with. Like there are companions who will think less of you when they see you picking locks. So it's like,
Oh, really?
oh, yeah. Like you can't just go do whatever you want and have any companion
so
be
they're
okay with it.
judgy.
Yes. Like they have different personalities. They have different abilities and attributes, and it actually matters like what kind of things you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're if they're standing there watching you, like, hey, that's not okay. Like, oh crap, I should have left you on the ship.
I like it. I mean, you have also worked on Fallout and Skyrim. I was not with the company when both games came out, and everyone is telling me it's super cool working on a BGS game because the release is different than for most other games. It's just you could call it historic. I mean, Skyrim is just so huge. People still play it. They still buy it. They are still super excited about it.
Yep.
Can you see any similarities already, or is it completely different from the campaign you did for Skyrim and for Fallout?
I mean, first of all, like important to note, since Oblivion, Fallout 3, like they haven't been like my campaign. Like Aaron Losey, who's now our global head of marketing community, like Skyrim was her campaign. Like she did that. She was a senior brand manager. She came up with and did that amazing live action commercial. So like across the years as we've made these games, it's actually been different people who have come in to work with BGS and sort of help move the ball forward as we figure out how to do another campaign that's different and fresh. And look, one of the things, like, it's not to say that like there isn't super excitement for Doom Eternal or Dishonored 2 or Hi-Fi Rush. It's just, it's different. And I think the difference is probably comes from a place like if you go and look at our player numbers on Skyrim and how many millions of people played Skyrim like last month, you realize that like this is not a game that gets measured in hours. Like we measure engagement. There are still so many people playing the original Morrowind 20 years later that like you measure this in decades, how long people play these games, how much it means to them. And I think that is part and parcel of why things like this feel different, because people who are going to play this, like that's how they feel about this. Like I'm going to lose myself in this for forever, for years.
And I mean, you have all those stories about mental health, and that gaming really helps people to survive sometimes.
I mean, it
bring them through tough times,
especially in the Corona time.
Or whatever, like whatever is going on in people's lives, whether it's dealing with the loss of a loved one or being stuck inside and away from others because of COVID, like whatever it's going on, we offer escapism. Like one of the reasons video games is so powerful is it's a form of escapism where you're in control, right? You're not watching a TV show or a movie passively where I'm just going to experience what story somebody else wants to tell. Like, no, this is yours. Yeah. You get to decide. You have the agency, and it gives you that sense of pride because you made those choices. You did those things. Like somebody else didn't decide that's how that was going to play out.
That's why people have that attachment, and they can't stop playing because it's part of their life at some point. Yeah. Kati has all the Skyrim editions, she told me earlier. All of them.
All of them.
There's a lot of them too, right?
A lot of them,
We just seem to keep making more of those.
5, 6,
okay, there's someone saying, I already quit my job because I know I will lose myself in stuff. Okay, wow.
I'm not sure we encourage folks quitting their jobs.
No.
But I will say, and I say this jokingly, but like one of the things that I measure like how big a launch is how many notes I get from other game company folks in studios like, hey, you're really screwing up our dev right now because everybody's staying up till 3 a.m. playing your game and showing up exhausted and bleary and seriously, you're crushing us here. Like this game is actually causing a problem right now, and it's it's all with the best of intentions. But like, hey, that's fun when it even happens to us. Like when we handed it out to employees, we had a number of folks who had the like, whoa, I went down the rabbit hole. Like I just hopped on at 10 for I'm going to play for an hour, and then fast forward, it's 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, like they've got kids. Like, I really just stepped.
The night is over in 2 hours.
But you can lose yourself in this game for 5-6 hours in the blink. Like you just will not notice that it's gone by because it pulls you in a way that I just find, truthfully, I find it magical.
Yeah, we have a very funny story. At first, when we get the game in our office Xbox, everyone wants to play it. So we're sitting on the couch, everyone around the TV. No one wants to work anywhere.
Back to work, right? Yeah. So
and Francie always, where are they? Where are the people?
And I think it was before an event, and I was like, guys, I mean, I know, but
but we still have to do this. We still have.
Was it right before the Esso Tavern or something? And I was like, I know, I would love to sit here too.
Yeah, we are sitting next to the TV, and and you can do that. Oh my gosh, yeah. Friend, no.
We'll be right there.
Yeah. We're coming back.
It was so hilarious, really. It was everyone, like the whole team. I was like, okay, wow. So I think we were 6 or 7 people in a very small room.
Yes.
I think there's going to be a lot of that going on.
And what I'm really looking forward to is for all the stories that people tell each other. Because that's what I liked in the office already, like also sharing with colleagues from other territories and just hearing what they did, what they experienced. And like in our mock review, or maybe for some people who don't know, sometimes we have like usually journalists coming in a bit earlier, testing the game, trying the game, playing through the game. And he came at some point and had tears in his eyes because he could build his first spaceship, and he was like, it's just such a magical moment.
That's amazing.
I had to share it with you. We were like, oh my God. And we all hadn't played it at that point. Yeah. So we're like,
we were jealous. So jealous.
So that's just like so cool that even those people who get to play all the games on Earth still have those feelings sometimes.
Ja.
Regie, können wir den Live-Action-Trailer bald mal zeigen? What we would like to talk to you about is the live-action trailer.
Yes.
I just asked the production if they are ready, because I think that one is magical. Like
Yeah.
the live action trailer is
I've
so
been at
stunning.
I am
I have goosebumps.
6-7 weeks from being at this company for 24 years.
Yeah.
It is by far the best trailer.
That's what I
I've
said
ever made.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I ever saw a trailer like that
Yeah.
before.
And the one that I probably had by far the least to do with. So like it's not because it was my idea or like I did nothing except watch it happen and just marvel at our team and them nailing sort of how to execute this in a way that had, for me, it has heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like the Skyrim live action trailers when I go to, like the way that set a tone and vibe for the game in a way that the gameplay couldn't, I thought was really something special. But this one took it a step further because it doesn't just set a tone, but it sort of taps into at least a good part of what I think Starfield is about, which is like it's not just about exploration, but there's like a lifting others up with you element to it that I just find really heartwarming and special.
Yeah, maybe we should show it to everyone. We released it on, I need to remember, Tuesday night
what day
after
is
the
it?
opening night live. Today's Thursday.
Okay.
2 days ago. So 2 days ago.
So yeah, let's take a look at the trailer and then we can talk a bit more about that. And
Yeah. But I don't know why. It's always when I watch the trailer, I get so emotional inside. So I don't know. It's like I have to cry, but I don't know why. Maybe it's I'm proud of it. The trailer is amazing, and I always get goosebumps and emotional, and I think it's amazing. It's amazing.
By the way, I saw something
Arrow
in
in
there.
the heart.
I didn't want it to go miss because I wanted to say something after we watched that, which is like the music in this game and how good Enon Zur's soundtrack
again,
is. How many hours of my life over the last 4 months that I have spent when I will leave the game in sort of like a ship in outer space and just let it sit there, and just so that I can sit and leave it on. I'm going to go do this, but I want to listen to the music because it's unbelievable how good it is and how much it amplifies the emotion and tone of the game in different ways as you play through it. It's awesome. And since somebody asked, no, we are not doing a making of Starfield because it's a week to go and we haven't started yet. So listen, I know we do things, we get this a lot, like, hey, you did this previously for a game, like, are you doing it again? That's not, honestly, we get really careful about not just repeating the same thing just because we did it last time. And this game required something different. And we didn't do a making of, but in case you missed it, we did do a feature film length reveal of this game during Starfield Direct. That 42-minute thing was an unbelievable amount of work. It was honestly almost infinitely more work than a making of because it took so much work, and the filming and the work by the dev team, it was an unbelievable amount of work, and sort of we had to put all of our heart and soul and effort into that as a thing because we just felt like the challenge of explaining something this big to folks in a way like I still don't know what this is. We really had to go wide and deep to an extent that allowed us to explain it so folks go okay, now I get it. Now I understand how, imagine trying to do that Starfield Direct in 8 minutes.
not possible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a clue what we were making. It's nuts.
Here someone is asking, can we get out of the ship in space and spacewalk?
I don't know. It's not a thing I've ever done. It's not a go float around. You're not jumping out to go fix a satellite. It's
exactly. Yeah, I was of course you can walk on the planet.
I know I have been jettisoned out of a ship in outer space, but that was totally unintentional and highly comical. I tried a ship landed on a surface. Todd had this happen to him too, and went. And I create a save game because again, I like to test the game when I'm in this phase of what does the game do here, right? Because I know our players are going to try different things. So I would wait until they all went to explore, and I would sneak and follow them and kill them one by one. And then I'd go back to the save, okay, they're still on the. I'm just going to bum rush the ship, throwing grenades, kill everybody. And I did, and I went to go into the ship, to enter the actual inside of the ship itself. and the pilot hadn't left the ship, and the door was locked, and he just took off with me in the cargo hold, and the thing is closing, and I was like, oh my, I have no idea what to do. Like, what did I just do? What do I do now? Like, I'm not prepared for this. And yeah, eventually I fell out of the ship for some crazy height and died. And like, okay, good to know. If there's still somebody in the captain's chair and you run on the ship, you can and will be taken off into outer space. Good luck with that.
I'm sure everyone will try it now as well. What other questions do we have? I'm just trying to hopefully answer some from the chat.
Maybe
I saw the new Game Plus question, which is a good one.
Times,
I'm not telling you. Like it. Seriously, it is. It's part of the main quest.
You should.
I mean, duh. That's how new Game Pluses work. But I'm not saying anything. Like, I think that's the kind of thing that fans should see and experience for themselves, because it's special, and it's really spoilery.
And no one wants to get spoiled here. No.
Do you have questions? What do you have on your? I can't see. What
I'm sorry. I need to write
everything
everything down. No, because we're talking about such an emotional trailer with the live-action trailer. Do you remember your first stunning or wow moment in the game? Your first emotional, stunning moment?
First emotional, stunning moment?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question. Because that goes back a really long... I mean, honestly, I think the first time was one of those, landed on a random planet. Like, I was doing okay, what's it like to go on another planet? How is each one different? Because, again, as Todd says, some of them are barren, some of them are not, resources or whatever. And so I was just jumping, okay, well, let's see what that feels like. Go to a system, land on a bunch of different moons and planets, scan them, see what resources they have. Do they have creatures? Do they not? And on one of them, it was just one of those, come out of the ship and, there's multiple moons and there's another planet over there. And they were, I think it was one of those things where, I was listening to Enon's music, so I just left it there and went to do something and came back, and, you can see the moons and the planets. And it was just, it felt like sitting on another planet and just looking at this beautiful shot. It was, I just left it and sat there for 5 minutes, just this is crazy. This is so amazing. I think probably that it had to be something like that for me. That sort of feels like the first thing that it wasn't some crazy combat thing or this creature or that quest. No, it was just being on another planet and feeling like I'm on another planet. I am so far from home, and this is so cool.
Will there be a photo mode to capture these moments?
Girl, please, of course.
I need to ask.
I mean, we talked about it in the Starfield Direct, right? You can compose really cool shots, and again, to your point, Franzi, that is the stuff that we love to see, right? We love to see the moments that people capture, the experience they have. Because again, I want to be clear, I've my current playthrough, I'm probably 160 hours or something like that. But but I also played it over the holidays on a different build.
Now.
And that was 100 or so. I've played this game a lot. I haven't even come close to seeing what's out there. And part of this is finding cool moments and things other people have done, and then realizing all of that is out there for you. But I do I know some folks are hey, this planet isn't the same for everybody, so I'm gonna find something. I can't tell somebody to go find that same thing. In some cases you will be able to. We do have fixed locations like cities and so forth, so you can say, oh, you have to go to Aquila City or Neon and do this or find that. That's still a thing. But it's the more sort of environmental storytelling and the emergent gameplay where you can't say I remember we had somebody in the Slack that we have where we're talking to each other while we're play testing and asking questions and so forth. And somebody, what were they asking about? I just completely blanked. Oh, they said there's a quest. There's a lot of emergent stuff in space, right? Mm-hmm. You're used to being in Skyrim and walking around and a bandit jumps you or there's little combat situations or coming across somebody we have to do that in outer space as well. You can't tell people be on a spaceship, be a spaceship captain and not have random things for them to find while they're in space. So there's different ships you'll come across. Some of them are flying around, some of them are derelict or have been exploded or star stations. Yeah. But the ability to like, I came across this thing and they wanted my help and I can't figure out where they were. Like, what planet is that? And we're like, oh, sorry, like we can't tell you like what planet that is. But what we can tell you is like everybody gets a chance at that at some point as you're exploring. Do you know what I mean? Like, as there's so much, it's less about where and just more about like when are we able to put these things in front of you so that it's appropriate, because we don't know like how much time you're going to spend in space or on a planet or in a city or what you want to do. So like it's not a formula that everybody has the same thing. Like that's actually the fun part. Like you get those, I used to call them water cooler moments until I realized nobody uses water coolers. So coffee maker moment. Somebody earlier today said it's a coffee maker moment. Even though I don't drink coffee, I'm using that one. So it's those coffee maker moments where people get to talk about like, I played for 5 hours last night and I did all these things, and like, wait, what did you say? What was, like, you did what? Like, oh yeah, you have to go here. And like those things are still exist, and the sharing that joy like gets people excited to go try and do and explore other things in a game that is all about like exploration and humanity exploring the vastness of space and finding like literally what is out there.
Someone has been asking what your favorite food is in game. They probably want to hear the sandwich.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not the sandwich.
Jamie has cornered the sandwich market. She owns that. That's hers. We acknowledge that. I don't know if I have a favorite food. I eat a lot of chunks. It's one of the brands in the game. You'll get it when you see it.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah,
already.
chunks
So that's out there.
yeah. But like I don't have a specific like, oh, I always get this. That's not.
But there is
really
a lot
how I
of
play.
food in game.
I do this weird thing, though. I mean, as both of you are, I know you're aware. I'm not sure if she's had been to enough meals with me to know, like, I'm maybe the world's pickiest eater, most boring eater. And I don't let my character eat anything in a game that I wouldn't eat in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, like if there's tomatoes in it, I'm not eating it. Sorry, I don't do tomatoes. Like, I might be role-playing that character, but their dietary tastes are still mine, so I don't like no onions, no tomatoes, like nope, not
like
eating that. I know it's weird, but like, hey, it's a role-playing game. That's the whole point, is make up those stories in your head about who you are and who you want to be, and I'm not eating that. And I won't eat anything I find out of a package.
Because it could be...
Yeah, because you find things that are wrapped, but you also just find like, there's a half-eaten sandwich, or somebody like took the chunks out of the packaging. Like, nope, not touching that. I don't know where that's been.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't know where the finger has been touched it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one. Yeah.
What else?
So,
got a lot of stuff on there. Come on, let's burn through some questions. What do you got for me?
Yeah, you can choose a lot of abilities in Starfield. So, which is your favorite one for the game, and which would you choose for your real life? The adoring fan.
No. No.
No, definitely no.
Well, the character that sadly, his name is Colonel. And his gameplay has come to an end because I'm starting my for real game when I get back tomorrow. But I made him wanted. I sort of created this backstory of like former military guy who was like commanded to go like attack a thing, and he refused the order and like disobeyed and was discharged dishonorably, and like whoever kicked him out like still is trying to get him like knocked off because, and like so you get bounty hunted like every now and then somebody shows up on a like that. So that's why when ships land, you can't just assume like they might be here specifically to take me out. But again, like one of the amazing things is like there's so many any of those things you have that have a drawback, like you can remove that. There's a way to remove that wanted thing if you want to. It's not like easy, but again, just think another thing, like as you're playing, you get to evolve and change the story you're telling about who you want to be in this world. I haven't even figured out, like I haven't actually figured out, I'll think about it on the flight home, like who is my character going to be? What am I going to be about for starting
So this
tomorrow?
one is called Colonel.
Colonel.
Is there a reason?
Because he was the colonel in the military.
In the military.
Old guy, gray hair, looks a lot like me. We'll see what I get up to.
That's actually a good part. Do you usually build the character so it looks like you? Because I usually build my characters so they look completely different, like completely different.
He doesn't look like me. He's just old and has gray hair, and so in that respect, I think he looks exactly like me.
You had another one on your list.
Yes. what or how is your personal play style? Do you prefer to sneak into the opponents, or do you shoot everything that comes to your gun?
I first of all, I was an actual Boy Scout. I am still a bit of a Boy Scout in our games, so I tend to usually be a little bit of a goody two shoes. Although somehow I managed to justify in my own head that lockpicking is okay. But like I won't steal stuff. I won't carry illegal contraband. Like even though some of that stuff is super valuable and like man, you can make a ton of money. But like you can also get busted and like no, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm a good boy or a good like hey, Colonel is he wouldn't do a bad thing that he was ordered to do, so he wouldn't just go and steal things. Like that's not how he thinks. Okay. But if you lock something and you're not going to let him in there, he takes offense at that. Like, what are you trying to keep away from me? I need to know what gun is in that locker.
Give it
Come on, let me see what's in there.
That's mine.
Yeah. But otherwise, honestly, I'm a bit of a like jack of all trades. I like trying a bunch of different things. I am particularly into, especially in this game, I really love how crafting works. Like researching unlocking new things to craft. Like part of that, like how did I spend 80 hours not doing the main quest is like, man, I went down the crafting rabbit hole in a big way. I was just gathering stuff to research and making all kinds of amazing weapons with cool mods. And that I think for me is almost the most fun. Like I got so into that part. But yeah, like I do some stealth. Like I don't just like walking in. So I'll try and like pull out a really sweet sniper rifle that I've built with a suppressor, so the sound isn't giving me away. I'll take out a few things, and then once chaos breaks loose, like all bets are off. But again, like I can't even talk about the combat and how I play without giving you spoilers. So like you need to try some of the main quest, and you're gonna like, like. Now I get it. Now I get why I have to do this and why it's a big deal.
I mean, I really want to master the persuading feature. I really want to be able to just persuade people to do what I want. Yeah. Without using a weapon. I'm going to try that one.
Is there something that you've seen like that's what I want to get into? That's what I want to try?
No, but I think I need to play two different characters because I'm always
a good and a bad one.
Yeah. I'm always in my first run. I'm always the good one in every decision. I'm always the good one, giving people food, money, and helping them. But I think in Starfield, I want also be a bad guy. I want to break in some houses or get a rest or something like that. I need to be bad.
So stuff you don't do in real life.
Yeah, stuff I can't do in real life. So let me do it in
Get up to some shenanigans. Yeah. Absolutely. How about you, Franzi?
I want to do the persuading, really. That's what I'm trying to master. I find that so interesting. And I try to understand the system, but I don't get the system yet.
Yeah.
So I always think, that must be the right one. That will get me where
there's a skill that's much further down the skill tree. It's called special projects. And once you start leveling that up, you start unlocking really cool things that you can't mod or build without it.
Yeah.
And it starts to do some really amazing, like, oh wait, I can make guns that do this, and like spacesuits that do that, and starts to get like, you you start making like, I'm seriously, like there's times where I'm like, dude, I'm Iron Man. Like I'm flying around in a pack, like shooting rockets, and like I'm a badass. It's pretty awesome. And so, but again, like the fun of it is you can change it minute to minute. You can be that person, and then like the difference is like the reason it feels so big is when you're in Skyrim and you want to go from a town to town, like, it's just like there. Like you can just walk over there, or you fast travel, but they're all relative to one another. But like when you go from Aquila City to New Atlantis or Neon, like you're going to vastly different places and different systems. It just feels so much more impactful because you really feel like, I'm not just down the road from where I was. Like
it's like a different world.
Yeah.
Out of a sudden. Yeah. Feels like different games.
Somebody asked, can we fly freely between planets within a system? Like, I don't know. I have not tested because it's not my thing. Like how like how much flying you can do in real time between things. Like it's not really my thing. I tend to jump. But yeah, every planet you see, every moon you can see, you can jump to.
Yeah.
When you go to a system, you'll see a bunch of little icons. Again, you can see them in the Starfield Direct, and they will give you idea of where you can find things on a planet to do. Like, hey, there's something here. There's a there's a civilian outpost. There might be an abandoned something, as well as the ones in space. Like there's a ship here or a star, and you don't know, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Am I going to die? Is it going to be, a quest? But it, it does at least give you an idea as you're exploring. Like if you're looking for something to do, like there might be something here. But you can also just, I'm just going to go land on that moon and see, like,
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, what's on that moon?
Can you loot the
enemy's armor in the game?
I mean, there's no armor. There's just your space suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can take
loot it.
Yeah.
space suits. Yeah, you can get space suits off of folks.
And of course the weapons.
Packs, helmets,
weapons.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw earlier somebody asked, "Can you get up on your get up out of your captain seat when you're in space?" Yes, absolutely.
You can walk around in your spaceship.
It's actually kind of important to be able to do that for reasons. Well, because I'm constantly overloaded with junk because I'm gathering up all of this ore and materials I need. And so, like, I fast travel back to the ship and put myself in the chair. I get up into space, and then I get up and go. And, like, okay, here's what I'm putting in my captain's locker. Here's what goes in the cargo hold. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next place.
Yeah. There are questions about level
cap.
Level cap. Oh, God.
I don't believe we have a level cap. I mean, nobody's hit it, but I don't think there is one.
I have a very funny question. Can you kill an important character intentionally or unintentionally?
I can't answer that one because I haven't tried, but I'm pretty sure.
Maybe we should try.
You're going to try.
When I play the bad.
You report back and let us know.
I try. Yeah, of course.
Are there other cities outside the main four? Yeah, there are. I think you just introduced.
Yeah, there's a couple of. The tone of this game is not like we left Earth and then created like 500 major cities. Like, no, that's not how humanity has expanded. Like, they've made a few big ones, but then, again, like the idea is they didn't stop there. Like, different people for different reasons. You'll come across like a group of people got together and decided we're going to go here and like create a farm and we're going to grow crops for people on other planets and other places. So it's it's a mix of places that you're going to find. It's not like, oh, how many major... It's going to be a whole blend of things big and small. And again, it's not even cities, right? You can go to star stations that, like, well, it might as well be a city because it's enormous, right? You can land on a giant ship that's like, that might as well be a city because it's absolutely enormous.
There was a question. Can NPCs pilot your ships? I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, I know I should know the answer to that, but I've never wanted to fly my own ship.
Like, why would
sorry,
you want that?
It never even occurred to me to try.
Are there Easter eggs that you found yet?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I love Easter eggs, so people should find them.
But yeah, I found at least one. Somebody asked, can you have multiple ships? Yeah, obviously, you can have more than one ship. Again, you're not flying a fleet. Like, this is not I'm going to have like 8 No, you're not. Like, this is about your ship is a character, right? You're not suddenly giving yourself multiple characters. This is not like I'm a fleet captain thing. You decide which of your ships you want to fly. They have different capacity. So if you have a lot of companions, you might be doing quests where like you want to like people need to get from here to there. It matters how many passengers you can carry on your ship. Or you might say, the hell with passengers, I'm carrying cargo. Like I need a 2-seater that can carry a ton of stuff. So depending on what ship changes, how much you can do of a thing. You might be really into smuggling and want a ship that has a huge shielded capacity to try and smuggle more things past folks so you can make even more loot. But again, like there's trade-offs there.
There was a question, but it's gone already. Is it weird that we get excited that Pete doesn't know everything?
There's nobody.
I mean, you never claim that you know everything.
We talk about this all the time. Like, people have this weird perception of how game development works that like, oh, everybody knows everything
Yeah.
about the game. Like,
Can't.
no, people
Yeah.
people understand everybody doesn't work on every single thing, and
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
literally impossible.
Yeah.
So, even Todd Howard's like, yeah, I found out something yesterday. I had no idea that happened.
What?
Like,
What?
it's such a huge game, and there's so much in it that you just can't ask one person to go, I need you to go see, and you have to compartmentalize and break it up. And work across a lot of different teams to wrangle all of that. And again, part of the fun of this is like there's not a chance all of you are going to know everything about this game a day, a week, a month after launch. Like there's just so much that we know folks are going to find that it's going to be fun as people continue to play and continue to go like, well, has anybody else found, like, I just found this. Like,
And it's more fun to find it yourself, right?
Yeah, of
Instead
course.
of just getting it told by
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
The fun part is finding it out. So you all have to play it, you all have to buy it. I would recommend pre-order it so you can start playing on September 1st already.
Yeah.
When the early access starts. Everyone else.
Do you have any tips for the begin of Starfield when people play it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to pass along some general things that aren't very spoilery. I really, really like very early on in the main quest, like almost the first thing you do after the lodge is, okay, if you're going to start doing that, they're going to like, okay, we got to get some information. We got to go talk to a person or two. One of the folks you can talk to, although you don't even need to, is somebody who's a recruit for the Vanguard. And the Vanguard is like calling it military is not exactly true. It's basically like you're signing up to help the UC sort of, you're signing up for service. It might be like go, take a bunch of supplies to this outpost or go these pirates or, these spacers are harassing somebody, go deal with them. But the beginning of the Vanguard, before you even join, he'll tell you like, you need to go downstairs and go through this thing. And you go through like a museum exhibit that does an awesome job of explaining like what happened. Why aren't we on Earth? What happened to Earth? Who's the UC? Who's the Free Star Collective? Who are these religious nut jobs? Like it really nicely lays out for you like, okay, I'm caught up to speed now on like what's going on in this world. So I highly recommend checking that one out. I mean, I think that Vanguard quest, that's one of the things that I've set aside to do starting tomorrow, right? There's a bunch of things that I was like, I'm waiting. I'm not going to spoil that. Like, there's got to be something that I leave for myself. So, like, I'm not going to do that or I'm not going to do that. But that's what I'm really looking forward to going further because there's some really fun stuff along that. Here's one that is particularly because I know how Elder Scrolls and Fallout fans tend to play our games, which is when you level up, you need to be really, really thoughtful about where you put your skill points because of the fact that in order to do the challenges of your skills so you can level it up again, you have to do that thing. So for example, like if you want to pick locks, you can't just like, oh, I saved up like 4 skill points and went level up, level up, level up, level up. It doesn't work like that. You level up once and then it says before you can do anything, you have to go pick X number of locks.
Okay.
So like,
Then you can.
so don't level up and go, oh, quick, I'm going to pick lock picking. Like, well, unless you're standing right in front of a lock or that's what you're actively going to do, like, wait a second. Like maybe that's what you want to do, but you might find out that you're in space and like, oh, actually what I really want to do is board another ship. Like, well, then you should have picked the targeting skill because you could unlock that immediately, which allows you to target a ship's engines, which disables it. So you can then get close enough to board it and then hand to hand or however you want to kill everybody on board to take over the ship and fly that ship, right? But if you pick lock picking before, you pick the skill that you can't actually use right now. And you could have like, oh, I could if I hadn't spent that. So like I've really changed how I think about it. Like I'm saving my skill points for like I need to be able to do this now, right? Like you put it into a research thing. If you're not planning on doing more research right now, like I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I have found it that like I wish that I had been a little bit more
It's such a good advice.
patient and waited until like I need to be able to do this now, and this is in my way. And because of the skill thing, everything doesn't happen quick, right? Like, so you start off, you can only, for example, fly Class A ships, right? There's multiple other classes. you can't just immediately jump to Class B. Like, you have to go do a bunch of space combat. You have to fight other ships. So if you're not actively doing that, well, don't wait until you get to the point where you're ready to do, okay, I'm ready to go fight a bunch of ships, or like, I got a mission to go take out like some Crimson Fleet ships. Like, okay, well, this is my opportunity to embrace that skill and try and complete that challenge so I can level that skill up. That one is big for me.
Very good advice.
And then the other one, honestly, is just like, do your thing, man. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no wrong way to play this game. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it wrong. Like, the whole point is it's your story. It's not ours. Like, we're not trying to ham fist anything down your throat and say, no, you must consume this thing. Like, hey, just be who you want. Do what seems fun to you. Explore. And again, you can like hop from good to bad as you hop from planet to planet. There's a way to remove bounties, like because there's so many different factions, and you might tick some of them off. Like, you can go to places where you can get your bounty removed if the Crimson Fleet is hell bent on killing you, or you did something to piss off the 3-star collective. So like, you can always undo and find ways to kind of roll back decisions you've made. But yeah, just like try, like figure out what it is that you would have fun doing, and just try it and see what happens. And then honestly, the other thing is like, we love it when you think like, I wonder if I could, like, oh, I love that sentence. I love that sentence because of the possibility, and like, because you're being creative, like you're expressing yourself.
Yes.
Like, you're not thinking like, do they want me to do this? You're like, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Like, oh, I could. That was awesome. And like, by the way, boost packing, pick boost packing. It's so
I was waiting for
important.
that. I was waiting.
It's so important. If you don't pick it first, like, pick it second. But the boost pack is awesome, and like all skills, you cannot use it until you unlock it. So you're going to be. We've had so many people like, my boost pack is broken.
I saw that on Slack all the time, and then it was
not broken. You don't have the skill to do it. You're just jumping around with a boost pack that doesn't work. Pick the skill. But even that one, like, you can put more points into it, and again, you heard us talk about in the direct how, like, when Tim Lamb is talking about, like, there's sort of the Hollywood version of something, and there's the really like brutal reality, realistic version, and then there's the like, what's fun for the player. And one of the awesome things our designers do is like, you can play with things like gravity a little bit. Like when people try and struggle, like, why is this so different than Skyrim or Fallout? It's like, well, because we don't spend a lot of time putting you in places where we get to screw around with gravity, where like you go to use your boost pack and you're like, holy Moses, like, where am I? Like, I'm way too high. Like, I wonder if I could boost pack up to that. Like, yeah, I bet you probably could. And so people are like, oh, when you explore a planet, you have to walk everywhere. Like, I don't walk anywhere. I'm boost packing all over the place. Like, did you hear my comment before about how I'm Iron Man? Like, that wasn't a joke. I'm Iron Man. I'm flying around, and I don't touch the ground because I've got enough of a boost pack skill that I just get to keep boosting myself. Like, yeah, I haven't touched down at all. There's a mountain towards, oh, that's going to be a long walk. Like, oh, wait, low gravity, high boost pack. I just jumped all the way up there and saved myself a lot of trouble. So
I can totally relate, because I was the same. What am I doing wrong? It's not working. What am I doing? Then I looked it up in Slack, and everyone was asking the same questions. And I was like, okay, it's not me.
It's not my fault.
So that is actually a very, very valuable tip that people should follow, hopefully.
yeah.
I'm more excited ever to play the game.
Is the adoring fan randomly generated, or can we customize it? Can it be a robot as well? Or the poor adoring fan?
No, an NPC is an NPC.
Yeah.
You don't get to change who the NPCs are in the world. Sorry.
If you could wish for one headline that media or content creators, whoever, puts out about Starfield after release, like, what would you like them to say about the game?
People are loving Starfield.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I want. Like, and again, I talk about this on and off. I talk about it in our team meetings when I call into the EU folks, which is like, people think about video game companies in terms of like, what franchises do they have? What engine is this on? What technology they use? What number is this? What number is that? And like, that is not what I came to Bethesda for. That is not what has kept me here for 24 years. Like, it's people. Like, the people in this company are awesome, and seeing people make something that makes other people happy is amazing. Like it's the actual best part of this job.
That's actually a good part, a good thing to say, because we talked about that last night. Because sometimes, I mean, of course, it's very stressful at the moment. I mean, the game is out in 2 weeks, so we have a lot of work to do. But then I always keep telling myself, calm down, breathe. I'm not a doctor. I'm not doing a surgery on an open heart, so no one can die.
Yeah.
But then actually, then I thought like, yeah, but it's true. But then, I mean, we are making people happy.
Yes.
We are helping people in tough situations.
And here's the other thing, which is like I have gotten notes from people who said like I had to have heart surgery, and the thing that got me through recovering, the thing that filled my days was your game. Like it gave me an escape from my current crappy situation and made me feel better. It helped me recover. It helped me. And I, you know, again, I as you all know, I talk about mental health all the time. I think it's crazy important. And in whatever way something we make somebody's life better or easier is just. Man, that is awesome. What a great feeling.
It is. I mean, I had the feeling in the beginning, sometimes when I said I'm working in video games, and then there were doctors or nurses, or you're like, okay, I'm just in video games.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I make people happy. Isn't that the coolest thing in the world? It's like...
And honestly, like around a launch like this, when you see like all of these things swirling around us as we're going along, and all of the conversation, like it is important to remember, like it is a video game. Like next Friday, we are not trying to figure out, did Bethesda Game Studios find the cure for cancer or not? Like it's that's not what we do. And by the way, like should point out, you had an actual astronaut on your stream.
Yes.
Like you want to talk about like what does a hero look like? Like how about somebody who actually goes into outer space? Because you know what happens in outer space? Death. Like it is a giant death trap. And anything goes wrong at any moment, death.
That's what she actually said.
And that woman is brave enough to go, yeah, I know, I'm still going. Like
it's like she said it takes her 6 hours to get into the proper spacesuit. If she wants to leave the spaceship and be out there, she has 8 hours. If she doesn't finish her stuff in 8 hours, that's it.
Yeah, like
that's it. I mean,
that's not a game. That's not like playing around and doing fun. Like that's actually figuring out like how does all of that work? How do we as human beings figure out how to better like explore this, exist there, like go beyond this planet that we seem to be doing an awfully good job of screwing up all on our own. You know, people who are taking the risks and going out there because it matters to them, like that's their life's quest. Yeah. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is taking something thematically and making it fun and bringing it to people and saying like, hey, this is fun. And honestly, the tangential effect of somebody might actually be inspired to explore space, to want to do more with this, you know, that's all gravy. But to your point, like, we're trying to provide something immersive and fun, and quite honestly, that you feel like I've never played anything like this before in a good way. By the way, people keep asking questions like, how long does it take?
Yeah, I know. I see that. It's just
nobody.
We're not spoiling it.
In any game, like we don't spend time. Like, how long does it take to? Like, I don't know. Just you tell us. The game will be out in a week. You go do your walking, jump around, explore the whole planet, and then tell us how long it took you to explore the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that we are just ignoring the chat, but there are also questions where we know we won't answer anything.
Or just like it's too spoiled. Like, how many creatures are there? Like, again, I haven't counted. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of them.
You will see. You will.
And,
you
and
count them
sometimes you
and
go
tell
on a
us.
planet and there's 0, and there's 0 on that one, and 0 on that one, and 0 on that one. But this one might have a bunch.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been asking about your watch. So maybe
I do love
someone
this
was
watch.
actually saying that the collector's edition already arrived today.
Really?
Oh,
which
so
is quite early.
This is not
quite early.
this is not the one you all are going to have. This is a variation on it. If you notice, the actual one is gray with white underneath. This is the reverse. But I mean, I have this on because I'm testing it. Like, this is another thing.
So
like,
I'm
sure none of you are thinking about it, but like, hey, like we are giving you a watch that has an app. Like, it has to work. So we have been wearing it. Like, does the step counter work? Does it control my music? Like, this is what people I don't think understand. Like, how many things we have to track down and make sure, like, we want to meet our players' expectations in every single place that they interact with us as much as humanly possible. And sometimes it feels like an impossible task, but, you know, that's what it entails. If you want to do something like Starfield, you talk about a launch like this, like every single thing you see, every partnership, you know, whether it's Noble Chairs this or Lucozade or like
Elgato.
this amazing stream kit. Like all of this is work. It's not like we just sent a thing and they went do this and we're like, yeah, done. Like, do you know how many versions of that controller we went through before we got to that one? Do you know how many times, we iterated on things before we got to the version that we go, okay, that's the one. Like that. You don't just like spend 5 minutes on it and nail it. You have to spend so much time. We obsess over details because like that's what makes good great.
And
great amazing. Yeah. Did we miss anything else on there? I didn't see. Mods question. Like, we're doing it. We said we are. There's going to be mods. We're going to release the creation kit. If you've played Elder Scrolls of Fallout, it's going to work like that. It's post-launch. We have no other information. We have a launch to get through, 7 days from now. And then turns out we're launching twice, which again, to your point, like how often do we launch it twice? Like it's hard to ESO, I guess, kind of PC and console.
Yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, it does feel different. Yeah, but it's coming. And again, like, I get excited about this game because I love it so much, and I love what we've made and what that team made. But there's a lot more coming, and when you start to think about the kind of communities that come around Bethesda Game Studios games, and putting a tool like that in the hands of people to go, how'd you like to make a planet? Like, how'd you like to do? Like, all of that is going to just be off the charts when you start getting a community to come in and add all of the different things that they want to bring to it, their own stories they want to tell, whatever it is, or hell, I have a list of things I already want to mod. So
that was one of my questions. Do you have a list of things you want to do? Like, because when I started playing the game, I had a notebook next to me, writing down stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm a weirdo. But I heard a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
Because the game is just so big.
Well, and because of what I said before, which is the game is amazing at, like, I know you thought that was what you were about to do, but I am about to distract the hell out of you in a way you're going to forget you were ever working on that. And it does help. Like, I was supposed to. like
a to-do list for
Okay, so here's one time when that happened. I picked up, you get these mission boards that you can have, and they have different kinds of things. Some of them are just like, this planet is looking for a bunch of this resource, right? And that's the kind of thing where, like, go build an outpost on a planet that has that, and you can mine it and have ships carry it to the... But sometimes it's like, hey, we have 2 people here that need to get, to the Mars mining colony. And it was one of those things where I accepted it. They're on my ship. I'm playing a little bit, and then I put it down, and like I think I went on a trip. It may have... I don't even remember. But I came back, was doing more quests, and came onto my ship, and there were these 2 people, and I was like... who the hell are these 2? Like, why are you on my ship? What are you doing here? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was supposed to be taking them to Mars and I totally forgot. And like, we're 3 systems away doing something else. They must be. So like, okay, quick, I got to go drop these folks off and then go back. But I'll get back to you in a sec. Sorry, just wait a minute. Let me go do this and then I'll get you there. And then like, we got jumped by these Crimson Fleet guys. All right, let me just do this battle real quick. And then like, one of them had this thing that I was looking for, this rare material that I needed to craft this thing. Okay, let me just go grab this real quick. So like you can really get down the rabbit hole and forget about like, oh yeah, that's why those people are online. I told them I was going to take them somewhere and I still haven't done it yet. And now time is short. I better hurry up because I'm about to fail this quest.
I like that one. Yeah, so good. That's good to know that I'm not the only one who has to take notes.
Absolutely.
Let's see if there's another question. Otherwise, I think we need to come to an end.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate like lots of questions in here. Any number of them I avoid because I don't want to spoil or.
But there will be a big article on Bethesda.net on our blog where we just.
Oh yeah, super important. We put something up or are putting something up today that has a bunch of like get ready for launch, like things you need to know, whether like you're a collector's edition person and like you want to know, hey, the watch, like how is this going to work? All of that stuff. We're going to put an article up just to get everybody ready.
Will it also include a shopping list? So make sure you have water at home, you have enough food at home, because you will not leave your apartment for the next month.
Put together your Starfield emergency kit for like, I accidentally haven't left my house in 5 days, or
like what did you do in the past? The doctor's note, the Pete.
Yeah, I got a doctor's note.
Note, so people don't have to go to school.
No, I'll have a doctor's note for you on Monday. I'm ready to go. I got my doctor's note ready.